Hello students and welcome to Shri Gyanmanjari Vidyapeeth. Students, this is the second lecture for chapter number 1 of the social science subject. Students, let's take a recap of what we learned in the previous lecture. As the previous lecture was the first lecture of the new academic year for Standard 10, we took a broader view of the subject, the layout of the complete textbook, in which we learned that there are 21 chapters in social science. The subject of social science is divided into 4 sub-subjects, that is history, geography, economics and civics, wherein history has 7 chapters, geography has 7 chapters, economics has 4 chapters and civics has 3 chapters. So this was the broader division of the complete textbook of social science. We further learned that we divide whole of the academic year into 2 parts, term 1, SAM 1, whatever you say. So term 1 and term 2, or SAM 1 and SAM 2. In SAM 1 we have taken 11 chapters, which we will be completing nearby around the month of October. Usually in the academic year, if it starts with the month of April. So quite a lot of time to complete 11 chapters. Now which are they? From history we have taken chapter number 1, 2, 3, 4. Geography we have taken chapter 8, 9, 10, 11. From economics we have taken chapter number 15 and 16. And from civics we have taken chapter number 19. So this was the complete understanding of term 1. The social paper is question paper, the board paper is of 80 marks, right? Consisting of 4 sections, section A, B, C and D. Whenever that is required, we will be discussing upon that also. Then we started with chapter number 1, introduction, where we learned the summary of the complete chapter at a go, so that you are well aware of what's going to happen in this chapter, what we are going to learn in this chapter. Students, we have to remember that whole of the social science subject, each and every chapter has been given fixed weightage of marks. Accordingly we have to prepare answers, question answers from that particular chapter. It may have objective, it may have subjective, that is descriptive answers. So we have to be very careful. In the previous lecture also advice was given that you should see all the online lectures regularly, you should not skip the lectures, should not skip even 1 minute of the lecture. Be very attentive. Lots of things are explained, lots of things that are not given in the textbook, they are also explained because they pertain to that particular topic. Additional knowledge, it's not about additional knowledge, it is about gaining or understanding the complete concept. Yes, just by reading it you will gather knowledge, you can memorize, but after a short period of time you will be able to forget it, because you just memorize the words, you did not understand the concept. So concept understanding is very important in social science. So lots of things are discussed in the lecture. In order to explain one paragraph or 1 or 2 lines, lots of examples have to be given, so that the students are able to capture the concept and remember the concept. It becomes easier for them to recall from memory and write it down in the answer. So it's very important that you attend all the lectures and be attentive during the lectures. Now we started with the first chapter, in which at the very beginning we have a shloka that is given to us, which is taken from one of the oldest scriptures of India, that is Vishnu Puran. We will be learning all about the Indian scriptures in chapter number 4. But For this particular chapter, we have to remember that the shloka has been taken from one of the Puran, that is Vishnu Puran. Now, let's have a glimpse of it. This is the shloka that we learned. Yes, it is said in the ancient Indian scripture. You got to remember these words. Yes, in the previous lecture we learned about what is scripture. Yes, what is script? First of all, script is the written form of any language, that is called script. And whenever some literature is written, it is written in a particular script. That means language, right? So that becomes the scripture. And if it is based on a particular topic, especially for example Purans, they are based on something, so that becomes scripture. Which is the scripture? Puran is the scripture. Now there are lots of Purans written. Out of that, Vishnu Puran is one of them. Yes, in that it is mentioned, this shloka is mentioned. We need to remember the shloka and the meaning. It is of 2 marks, right? You write the complete shloka in Sanskrit and then the translation or the meaning of it, that's a 2-mark question. So we got to understand the subject of social science in this way, in this manner. In the material also it has been given in this way, so that it becomes easier for you. Yes, if I know this, I'll easily get 2 marks. So what we are doing is trying to score more and more marks, right? So what is this shloka? Uttaram yat samudrasya himadrasya dakshinam varsh tad bharat nam bharati yatra sansatihi. Meaning is quite simple. Even if we try to remember it from this particular shloka, then also the meaning is quite clear. Uttaram yat samudrasya, right from the north. What is the extent of India? That we have learnt in standard 9. Yes, so it becomes easier for us to remember. What is the extent of India? From north to south, east to west. Now what is in north? Himalaya. So we start our country from the top, that is north, where the Himalayas are present. Then we go vertically downwards. Yes, then we have at the tip of the South India, yes, Indian Ocean, right? So from the north, from the Himalayas to the tip of South India, where there is Indian Ocean, Dakshinam. Dakshinam means south. Varsht tad Bharat, whole of the area in between that is known as Bharat. Tad Bharat. And the people who reside in it, they are known as Indians, right? There is a simple meaning. So we know in broader sense, from north to south, if we want to say from east to west, then from Bay of Bengal, just above the Bay of Bengal, right from there till the Arabian Sea. Yes, so stretching on in all directions, whole of the land that is in between these 4 geographical boundaries, that is known as India, and the people living in it, residing in it, they are known as Indians. Country Bharat, citizens Bharatiya. Yes, this is what we learned in the previous lecture. Now let us go ahead with today's lecture. Heritage of India, we are learning the essentials of that, right? So India is gifted with natural boundaries in the form of Himalayas in the north and sea in the east, west and south. Now, if you are asked about the extent of India, then India is gifted with natural boundaries. Many of the countries in the world, their boundaries are open. That is a threat. Anybody can come anytime and attack. Right? The country has to be constantly aware of that and keep the boundaries safe. But we have a natural boundary, and that also not easy to cross. Yes, we all are aware about yes, if we go to the northern side, the Himalayas, they mark the boundary, complete boundary from where India starts on the western side to where India ends in the eastern side. Whole of that boundary, starting from J&K to Arunachal Pradesh, whole of the boundary is protected by the Himalayas, high lofty mountains rising 7 to 8 kilometers on the top, right, to the top, the summit. So such a height that the enemies cannot just cross it, because most of those areas are uninhabited. That means nobody's living over there, and the height is such that it becomes unsurmountable for any army to cross the Himalayas straight away. So that works as a natural boundary, not only for protecting us against the enemies, but also for protecting against the Arctic wind, cold Arctic wind, which blows from the North Pole, the Arctic Sea. It saves us from that also. That is why we do not have severe cold in India, because India is well protected with the Himalayas. Starting from there, now if we come to the rest of the three sides, north side is covered. Now if we say the eastern side, western side and the southern side, then southern side is the huge Hind Mahasagar, or we can say the Indian Ocean. Indian Ocean, we have learnt in 9th standard that this Indian Ocean, this ocean is the only one in the world which is named after a country. India, Indian Ocean. Rest of the oceans, whether it is Atlantic Ocean, whether it's Pacific Ocean, yes, we have 7 oceans, and none of those oceans, none of the other 6 oceans, they are named after any country. So this is the only ocean in the world which is named after a country. We got to be proud of, right? Now, for any enemy to cross the Indian Ocean and attack us, nearly next to impossible. Same way, we have a huge water body on the eastern side, that is Bay of Bengal, a huge water body on the western side, that is Arabian Sea. So India is gifted with natural boundaries in the form of Himalayas in the north and sea in the east, west and south. We are well protected. India, now we come to the prosperity of India. Yes, in the earlier times, in the ancient times, India was known as Sone ki Chiriya. Why is that so? Because India was prosperous. Now what has made India prosperous? That is the concept. Right? This is a paragraph, but what is the concept? The concept is, the idea to understand is, why was India prosperous even in the ancient times, when there was such a lot of trouble all over the world? People were fighting for food, water. Our land was prosperous and gave us more than sufficient. Why is that so? First thing is, we are near the equator. Yes, so we have an equatorial tropical sort of climate, which is not so cold, not so hot, not so cold. So if we go to the southern end, we see that most of these 4 or 5 states in the southern area, they are quite fertile, with lots of vegetation, with lots of crops growing over there. It is because warmth is necessary for the growth of vegetation, because it is situated near the equator, so warmth is already there. Warmth is one of the main reasons for vegetation to develop at a very fast rate. So we see dense jungles over there, we find lots of spices produced over there, we find lots of rice produced over there. So these are the basic reasons, and because it is near the equator, they have lots of water. So the most important thing, the warmth, humidity, rainfall, everything is available in plenty. There are many big rivers in southern side. If we come to the northern side, yes, northern side is not that cold whole of the year. Of course, during the months of winter, north remains 2-3 months quite cold. Otherwise, rest of the year, we have quite a lot of heat received from the sun. The perennial rivers coming out of the Himalayas, perennial means having water throughout the year. Most of the rivers coming out of the in the northern side, they come out of the Himalayas, and that is why we have that rich, sweet drinking water available throughout the year, which is very, very necessary for our survival. That is why we see in the ancient time, most of the villages, towns, cities, civilization, it developed near the village. We have ample amount of rivers flowing out everywhere, right from the mountains, either from the northern, in the central or the western Ghats. Yes, we have big rivers coming out of it, full with water throughout the year. Our land is very, very fertile, which gives us our desired crops, right? So what do we need for a living? We have water, we have food. right? The soil is rich in minerals. So whatever we wanted, Mother Earth gave us. A particular land gave us, and that is why we are very, very prosperous. So India was a prosperous country, and so people from all over the world, all through the ages, it is not about one particular era or one particular time period. Yes, since time immemorial, people have been drifting from all parts of the world. Yes, and when they came across our country, when they came on the doorstep of our country, when they entered it, they found peace, they found prosperity. Everybody wants to live where there is peace and prosperity, where there is a chance of development, where there is a chance of the safety of their family. They will try to settle over there. So once people came to India, they settled in India because we have everything we want. Right from the time immemorial, we are peace-loving people. We never went out and tried to conquer other areas which did not belong to us, right? Because whatever we want, we had, right? So India was a prosperous country, and so people from all over the world, all through the ages, whether it is Stone Age, whether it is the ages coming after Stone Age, till today, people have been coming from across the world to come and settle in India. Were attracted by the wealth and prosperity that India had and came to India for different purposes. They came to India because they wanted to trade, because those things are not available in their countries. For example, we have cotton growing because we have that soil which allows the growth of cotton. So we grew cotton. We have lots of wheat produce. If you are talking about grain, wheat and rice, both are produced in plenty in India. So other countries which are facing severe scarcity of food grain, they come to India to buy food grains. They come to India to buy cloth. They come to India to buy salt. They come to India to buy spices, because those things cannot be produced. If we are talking about the Arabian countries, if we are talking about the European countries, they are not in a state to produce cotton or spices. Yes, because first thing, the soil does not allow them the growth of cotton. Second, they are in the temperate zone, so quite cold climate, snow falls over there. So many of the requirements needed for the growth of crops is not available in their countries, and that is why they have to depend on countries like India for their basic needs, right? So they came to India for whatever reasons, for trade, settlement. Yes, there are lots of people came to India for settlement. Why did they come? The political situations over there were not so. Other tribes were threatened. Yes, their existence was at a question, so they had to run away. So whatever the reason, either scarcity of food or scarcity of water, yes, scarcity or danger of enemies, wildlife, whatever you say, it was they were there. They got fed up and they started moving. When they came to India, they stayed. They did not go further away from here. And what happens when people start living over here? They are foreigners. We consider them foreigners, right? But we allowed them to settle down. Yes, and slowly they mixed with the population over here and became Indians. Today, there is no difference. We do not know the origins. We do not know the genes, right? But today, we call all of them Indians. Now nobody is a foreigner who has been living in India for thousands of years. They are Indians, right? So they mingled very well with the Indian culture. The main important point to remember over here is that whenever a person comes from a foreign land, even if he comes empty-handed, he brings along with him ideas which are very, very necessary. He brings along with him ideas. He brings along with him his language, his script, his customs, tradition, religion, all of those things. Even if he comes empty-handed, he brings with himself lots of things. And when he settles and gets mingled with the population, yes, he passes on those things and it becomes a part of our culture. Yes, that is how these tribes which came from outside, they got Indianized in this way. Due to mutual exchange, many change have been seen in our culture, and in this way our heritage is transferred from generation to generation and is continuously growing. This was the basic concept that we just understood. As I said, when a person comes from a foreign land, even empty handed, he is just wearing his clothes, he does not have any money, he does not have any clothing, he does not have anything, even not even a blanket to lie on to cover himself. He comes empty handed, but he comes with the richness of his language, his script, his knowledge, his ideas, his customs, his traditions, his religion, the faith that he follows. All these things he brings along with him, and he comes and settles over here. When he comes and settles, what happens? Mutual exchange happens. What is mutual exchange? Mutual exchange is the interaction done by the local people and the foreigner. They have different custom, different tradition, different language. They try to understand our language, our script, our ways and customs. And he adds, if we visit his home, he, after some time, say 5, 10, 15, 20 years, he will be having his own gods and goddesses, he will be worshipping his own gods and goddesses, but along with that, he might have kept small idols of the gods and goddesses of the local people. This mutual exchange happens. What happens? When he has children, his children see a mixture of the gods and goddesses, the faith. He sees a very fine mixture of faith. He sees a very fine mixture of the deities that are worshipped. The worshipping method might be different, right? The way people wear clothes, the way people, the food habits, the mannerism, everything changes for a foreign person. But when he comes and settles in India or in this land, he gives some customs and tradition of his own. People see that and they find it good. They accept the customs and tradition. They accept the language of that person. In exchange, that person also accepts our customs, traditions, language, whatever this land has to offer to him, because now he has to live over here. We like some of the things belonging to him. Yes, we accept those things, right? And we try to respect his customs and tradition and language, etc. Right? So in this way, there is only one word, mutual exchange. We got to understand the concept behind it, then it becomes very clear. Now, because of that, many changes happen. For example, he is wearing a particular type of clothing which is liked by the local people. This is more attractive, this is more good, it looks quite good. Yes, we appear quite handsome or beautiful in this type of clothing. So that type of clothing is accepted by the local people. What is that? Mutual exchange. Yes, we have not asked him, but we see it and we start wearing that. Right? Same way, he also, along with, in order to look like a local, he has to dress himself like a local. What is he doing? He is trying to accept our way of clothing. He is trying to accept our ways and customs and methods of living. So that mutual exchange, lots of changes slowly take place in the society, has been seen in our culture, and in this way, our culture becomes more rich because something was already there and we accepted whatever these foreign tribe people or the people coming from outside India, they brought with them, and we included that. Now, our culture, which was already there, it got more enhanced, it got more beautiful because of the contribution given by these people coming from outside. So, our culture grew richer. And as we just discussed, the grandfather passes on everything to his son passes on to his son. So in this way, from generation to generation, transferred from generation to generation. This heritage of ours is passed on from generation to generation, and each and every generation, in order to make it more better, they add something to it, they modify something, they change something, and thus a new thing is added, a new change is added, and that is also passed on. So it becomes more and more beautiful, it becomes more and more better. Yes, it becomes more and more acceptable and admirable. So in this way, our heritage, this is a very important part of the paragraph, our heritage is transferred from generation to generation, and it is continuously going because we constantly make changes to it. For example, computers were invented, whole of the computer system with all the peripheries was invented outside India. Yes, but we accepted that, and that has made lots of changes in our country. So we accepted something which was foreign. So in this way, from generation to generation, the heritage is passed. We involved that in our heritage, we included that in our society, and then it gets on passed from generation to generation. So it is always constantly growing. There are minute changes that keep on happening, influenced by outside world. We make those changes and we make it more better. So this is a question in itself, the paragraph before, and this paragraph is the answer to our heritage is transferred from generation to generation, and even today it is continuously growing. So 2 paragraphs, at least 4 points are there, which fetches you 2 marks. This is how we are going to study social studies. Whatever is required by the question, we got to answer it. Rich and varied heritage is the next topic. Rich, we just understood, right? How do we make our heritage, how do we make our culture rich? By enhancing it, by including new things in it, we make it more richer and richer, right? A foreign tribe has come to India, foreign people, they have come to India. We like the shape of the pot that they are making. We buy from them, and then after some time, 5-10 years later, our potters are making the pot of their shape and size. We accepted it, and then we involved it in our culture. That is a small change, but because of that, our heritage has become richer, because now pots made by the local people and pots made by the foreign people, both the remains of both of them are found in India, right? So we sometimes might not be able to know who has brought what and who has made the change, but then both these things are found in India. The pots made by the local people and the pot made by the foreigner, right? So in this way, we see a very fine mixture, and that makes our heritage richer. Varied. What is the meaning of varied? Yes, India is a vast country. People are living in south of India, north of India, west of India, east of India, central India. So there is going to be lots of differences between the faith or the religion they follow, the way of living, the staple diet that they have, the different types of food that they eat, the way of clothing, way of making houses. Yes, the way society behaves everywhere throughout India, we have different societies working, right, which are quite different from one another. That is the variety that we have. That is varied heritage. Now, understand the topic, rich also and varied also. Indian culture has been trade oriented. Why trade oriented? What is the meaning of oriented? Meant, yes, or the objective of our society was to do business. Trade oriented. We saw everything from the perspective of business. Why was that so? Understand the concept, you will understand that particular sentence. We have discussed in this lecture itself that India has showered upon lots and lots of gifts, whether that is climate, whether that's geography, whether that is soil, crop, whatever. We have more than sufficient things available in our country. We have such a lots of resources, right, that we have extra of it. I'm talking about ancient times, right, where the population was quite small and abundance of land, fertile land was available, which gave us lots of things to produce, which was not only sufficient, but we have lots of spare, so that we can sell it to outsiders, because outsiders came to India and wanted the things that Indians had. What did we have? We have lots and lots of food grain, we have lots and lots of other things. For example, we have lots of minerals, yes, from which we make things. Those minerals are not available in each and every country. Yes, we produce salt. Yes, same way we produce lots of crops, right? From cotton we used to have lots of things made out of cotton, right? Now these people, they cannot grow because that land, the climate does not allow them, the soil does not allow them to grow all these things, so they have to depend on us. So we saw everything from the trade perspective. So Indian culture has always been trade oriented and peace loving. We have always been peace loving people, right? Because when do you need to attack somebody? When you are too much greedy, you do not have those resources, then it becomes, for the purpose of survival, it becomes very necessary to wage a war, win the land and win the prosperity, take away the prosperity, because you do not have that. Now Indian people had whatever they wanted. Yes, they were the whole of the land of India, Bharat. It gave the people of India so many things that we were completely satisfied with it, and we took that opportunity of doing business with the things available, resources available with us, finished products that we made out of those resources. So we had ample amount of richness. We did not have any reason to go and attack somewhere. So we were peace loving people. So two things happen at the same time. We are trade oriented and we are peace loving, and we are religious minded people, right? So the concept of Sat, Chit and Anand is to be understood over here. We have realized that means we have come to know the truth about three things. One is Sat, one is Chit and one is Anand. Now it's not necessary, but it's not necessary. So the complete meaning of Sat, Chit and Anand is not given in the material or either in the textbook also, but we need to understand these three words. Yes, first word is Sat. Sat means the truth. We have Lord Buddha, Lord Mahavira, who renounced the world to attain spirituality, to find truth, and they got the knowledge of truth. That is that Sat. Yes, the truth. Yes, lies can be temporary. Lies may achieve you something temporarily, but at the end what prevails? Truth prevails, right? So that is the truth, Sat. Chit. Chit means two things. One is body, one is mind. Put together that becomes Chit. With the help of yoga, etc., we try to understand ourselves, understand the environment, understand the nature, which gives us bodily peace and mental peace. For body, we need food. Yes, we need rest. We need work to do. We are constantly growing. But for mind, what is the food? For mind, peace is the food. Yes, spirituality is the truth. We have realized this with the help of religion, yoga. That is why the idea of yoga started in India. We'll learn about that in another chapter, right? Nowadays, we have World Yoga Day, right? The Western countries, the rest of the world have understood the gift given by India, that is of yoga. Yes, that is for that Chit. Yes, the inner peace that we have. Yes, of the soul, which cleanses the soul, right? So that is Chit. Chit has two parts, body and mind. And Anand. If we know the truth, if we have inner peace, if we know the truth, Sat, if we have achieved inner peace or attained inner peace, yes, complete satisfaction. With the help of that, we will get the third one, that is Anand, joy of living, right? So, Sat, Chit and Anand looks like three words, but they are the basic concepts that are realized by the people, ancient people, and they have followed it. Yes, in short, we have one word, Satchidanand, right? That Satchidanand has three things, Sat, Chit and Anand. By following the truth, by realizing the truth, by having inner peace, we attain Anand, sheer joy. That is the meaning. So we people, we Indian people, we have realized Sat, Chit and Anand. We come to the next paragraph. People who came and settled in India. This we have already discussed. Now we go into detail. People who came from outside and settled in India. What were the things that they brought? First thing is they brought ideas. They brought their customs, tradition, religion, language, script, and they brought lots of other things like handicraft or different ways that they live their lives with. In India, when they entered India, had the idea of settling in India, then they have to accept our ways of living. What were our ways of living? They accepted the values of non-violence. Yes, wherever they come from, wherever they were residing earlier, there was lots of violence. But when they came to India, they realized that these people are peace-loving people. They are not always warring with each other. So, they accepted that non-violence way of living and peace. Wherever there is non-violence, there has to be peace, because violence is not there, greediness is not there, unnecessary aggressiveness is not there. So what happens is we have peace. So they accepted the values, they understood the importance of non-violence, and they also left their violent ways, because now they are living in a different way where violence is not needed. So what is needed over here? Non-violence. They accepted, but because by non-violence we have prosperity. By peace, when can prosperity happen? When can a country prosper? When it has peace. Many of the countries today also we see, yes, that has been a war zone. It has been a war-torn countries for the last 10 years, 20 years. Do they have peace? No. The people, the citizens, they are always facing scarcity of food, water, the basic utilities, the basic facilities. There is no government in place, there is nobody to help them. When does that happen? Because that country is always at war. People are at war with each other in that country, or they are at war with their neighbors. This happens because violence is there, peace is not there. Which are the values that we have? Which are the things that we have which are more valuable? Two things: non-violence and peace. So people like that. Everybody wants to be peaceful. Yes, everybody doesn't want to take a sword and start running and start fighting. Nobody wants that. We want peace. So when they came to India, they found that people over here are non-violent, they are peace-loving people, they are trade-oriented people. So they accepted, yes, it's good. If I want to survive, if I want to see the prosperity of my family, I need these two things. I got to accept it. So people who came from outside, settled in India, accepted the values of non-violence and peace, and has been admired and adopted by the world. Two values: non-violence, peace. If I take the first value, non-violence, yes, even in modern times, Gandhiji started non-violence, satyagraha. He used that as tools to give freedom to India. We all know about that. But what happened after that? When people of the world saw that with the help of non-violence, with the help of satyagraha, you can free your country, other countries who were in chains, who were bound by some foreign rule. The people revolted over there not by taking up arms and shooting down the rulers. They took the path of non-violence showed by Gandhiji. Even the top richest and most developed countries, even countries like UK, under which we were rulers, yes, yeah, USA, even in those days, the people of the rest of the world, they gave lots of importance by the way how India attained freedom with the help of non-violence and satyagrahas. Many other countries who were ruled by foreigners, those people, in order to become free, they used the path shown by Gandhiji of non-violence and satyagraha, and they were able to achieve freedom. So we were the torch bearers. We showed them the path. We showed them the light. Right? So it has been accepted, admired, and adopted by people of the world. So in this way, our values, our heritage has been accepted by the world. They follow the ideas given by us, and they also attain peace, and then they have prosperity. Rich people, right from the beginning of Indus Valley civilization till today, have made our country rich and wealthy with their intellectuality, ability, talent, and skill. Now, we discussed this in the first lecture. Today we are going to see it in detail. Today, this year is 2021. We go back to 0, that is 0 AD, the year when Christ was born, and some 3000 years before 0 AD, a total of 5000 years. This is a milestone, as 0 is a milestone because we count 2021, then 0 becomes a milestone. The year when we got independence is somewhere year 1947, that becomes a milestone. Yes, because it is from here that we count India as a free country. So, we go back in the timeline 3000 years before 0 AD, the year Christ was born, and from there 2000 years later, right? A total of 5000 years. This is the mark where we have Indus Valley civilization. Indus Valley civilization, right? So we keep Indus Valley civilization as a mark on the timeline, right? That there was a civilization. Why do we keep that as a milestone? Because it has been proved from the archaeological remains that we have from Indus Valley civilization, it has been proved that these remains are at least 5000 years old, and it has been found in India. So it means that in this land, people had a very good setup, a complete civilization that lived over here. They had towns, cities, villages. Yes, we find lots of remains today. Many parts of the country we keep on finding the remains, and most of the time period is quite common, is around 5000 years or just before that. So we keep Indus Valley civilization as a milestone. That means this country has a history of continuous 5000 years. That much is accepted. Very less civilizations in the world have this much time period constantly with them, right? India and Indians, we should be very proud of the rich heritage that we have. Yes, we are a civilization which is at least 5,000 years old. And if that city was found 5,000 years before, it just didn't come up in a night. That means civilization, people were living before that also, right? So people, right from the beginning of Indus Valley civilization till today, all these 5,000 years and from before 5,000 years also, we have been living in this land, we have been making lots of things, and we have been adding it to our culture. Yes, whether that is natural heritage, cultural heritage, whatever, we have been adding, we have been modifying it, we have been changing it, and that is why we have made our country, what have we given? Rich and wealthy with their intellectuality. Please remember these four words, they should be in your answer. What are the four things with which we make our country rich, wealthy, prosperous, giving us a very rich heritage, customs, traditions, all those things put together, different languages, different script, different literature, knowledge. How did that happen? Because people were intelligent. They were able to give such a lot of heritage to us because of their intellectuality, because of their intelligence, because of their ability to do something new, to do something, to continue with that, to find out new things, their talent. And the last thing is their skill. Yes, talent and skill. Talent can be developed. Talent can be found and then developed. When you continuously do a thing again and again, it becomes a skill. For example, if you try practicing beautiful curves in your handwriting, you continuously do that. At many points in time, you face difficulties, yes, but you continuously keep on doing it. At the end, say 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, your handwriting will become very beautiful. That is the skill that you have developed. You had the talent and you excelled in it with the help of constant practice. That is skill. If today me or you, if we are told to make a bamboo basket, we are not able to do that. First thing, we do not have the knowledge of making it. We have to see other people, how they are doing it, and then take the material from them, try to weave it. Yes, we will have lots of holes, yes, in the first basket that may make. But with the help of our intelligence, with the help of our capturing the idea, grasping the idea, yes, trying to improve upon our work, intellectuality, the ability to do so. We don't never say we are not able to do this. We have the ability and we believe in our ability, and that is why we get success. We have the talent, and when the talent is used continuously, we become skilled people, right? So in this way, India, please understand this, people, right from the beginning of the Indus Valley civilization till today, we have made our country rich and wealthy because of our intellectuality, ability, talent and skill. These four words should be in your answer, right? Because these four words, they are called the keywords. Yes, the examiner is looking for these keywords in your answer. If he doesn't find it, he is going to cut marks, because these are the main things in the point. Next, innumerables are. Now, which are the people who gave such a prosperous heritage to us? Who gave such a prosperous and rich culture to India with all their customs, traditions, whatever we say. Yes, language, script. Yes, lots of different types of knowledge. Yes, inventions, discoveries. Who were those people? One by one, innumerable, many. Scholars. Who are scholars? People who are well learned. Yes, quite good in a particular subject. It's called scholars. Then there are thinkers. Who are the people? Who are the thinkers? Thinkers are the people who think differently from the rest of the people. They ponder upon, they keep on giving thoughts on the topics, the subjects that other people do not have time to think upon. These are the things who these are the thinkers who bring a change in the society because they were able to think differently. Thinkers, artists, artists, all the different type of art, whether that is dance, music, painting, making something, yes, all the artisans, yes, people who make things, all of them are considered artists, right? They made that change, they developed themselves and they gave better and better things. Artisans, artisans are the people who make things. For example, carpenter is an artisan, same way metalsmith, goldsmith, they are also artisans because they make things out of raw material, right? So they are artisans. And lots of talent and skill is required. Yes, we can just draw the picture of a chair, but if we sit down to make a chair, a carpenter will make it at least seatable, we can sit on it. Yes, what will happen if me and you we sit to make a chair? Yes, we do not even trust ourselves to sit properly on it because we do not have the experience of that. Once we have the experience of making a chair, so artisans, sages, sages, they are people who have renounced the world or the worldly matters and they have followed God or the path created by the God, and they are spiritually quite near to God, and whatever knowledge, spiritual knowledge that they gain, they give it to the world, right? That is very much required for that Sat, Chit and Anand. So those sages, saints, saints are scholarly people. They might not be scholarly also, they might not be educated also, but they are quite far ahead of us where spirituality is concerned. Scientists, we'll be learning about all that in chapter number 5. Yes, the India, the scientific and technological advances that we have right from the beginning till today, what we have given to the world, or what our scientists in the ancient time, even before the world knew, we knew that our earth is rotating on its axis. Yes, so there are lots and lots of scientists, Indian scientists. So all these people with their intellectuality, ability, talent, skill, they have made a country rich and prosper. And historians properly noted down chronologically and thus helped us to understand history better. Yes, we make our future better by making our present bright with the help of understanding our history, with the help of understanding the mistakes that we made in the history, other mistakes of even other people that was done in the history. We learn them, we do not follow it, or we manage to evolve out of it, make something new in the present, and thus make our future better. So historians, quite important part of the society, have contributed, continuously given lots of things for the growth and development of our culture. Students, with this we complete our today's lecture. Thank you.